Usually it's the other way around, where the operating fund transfers out. So you could look at it as it's been, some of the funds have been, appropriated where it should stay in that fund.
Is there money in the park capital fund still?
Yes, but not very much. It's right in front of us. Let's see. Yeah, it's about $4,000. So.
Can that be used for design?
Yes.
So that might go from the general fund transfer to parks. I mean, if council wants to go that way.
Well, it might be if you guys really want to support it, but I don't think that the park needs to have, the city needs to take advantage of and move forward with some support in the parks. I know that they would like to have more,
And are you comfortable with the money that's in the budget now, reallocating $25,000 to parks without significant impact somewhere?
I'm comfortable with it as long as I can balance the general fund. What I mean by that is, you see, it's down to $6,000 in the general fund, and so I would appropriate some of the time from the general fund if I can, so that would save some of the transfer. As far as parks, I'm not sure I can. I'll look at it to make sure that it's balanced and that we do that. If that's what the council, really wants, that's what we can do. I mean, a lot of cities go in and they have a negative balance and they just have, the general fund's not in bad shape, as you know, but I want to start building it up the other way, and to do that is have a positive balance every year. It's small this year, but that could change with the insurance. So I'm comfortable with it, and we'll just have to work a little harder to find, to make sure that it still balances and moving the $25,000 increase.
What if we condition the transfer on the potential savings of insurance?
We could do that. We would have to not include it in the budget, though. We'd have to wait until we know that. And even though we have a meeting this week, there's no guarantees. If we find out there is a guarantee this week, I'll definitely put it in the budget. But that's, it's going to be pushing it. But we're doing that anyway, so why not go for it out? So.
I was just going to say, as long as the budget for right now, I'd be more comfortable with the bump in the maintenance and $5,000, initially, and then we can look at 2014 as an amendment, depending on how things go, but show the parts that we're willing to put forward some additional support, and then see how our budget and the insurance and everything else falls out in the new year. We can always come back and adjust. I don't know, I'd just rather not pump it up too high and then find that we are on the other end.
Well, I think the maintenance piece of it makes sense because there may be money, grant money that we can look for design work and for other, and some insurance stuff as well. Josh, you have something?
Well, I was going to make the same suggestion that we could also, for some of this facility expansion.
You're awfully quiet, makes me nervous.
Well, basically, when you look at the 2014 budget, I went through too many of these. I mean, they're just a guideline to bring you into the new year. There's a lot of unknowns that are going to come up. It's just like Richard stated earlier. I mean, it's not in stone. I mean, there's no way it can be. And we're going to be making quite a few adjustments the first quarter. And you just understand that to begin with. And that's why I never get really excited about the original budget, because it never really holds true. And
how much maintenance do we anticipate the first quarter? Do we do quite a bit aside from picking up the garbage and, well, hopefully pick up?
No, typically our maintenance on the parks really gets into swing around April. Is when it's mainly just picking up garbage and taking care of graffiti.
Yeah, tree branches. And
tree branches.
Broken slides and brick slides.
Exactly. So it's more towards April.
another thing you might kind of keep in mind, if this continues, let's say every year they put the HISCUs up and they put water in there, you may want to kind of think about how how much really improvements and everything else we wanna do there, because there's a lot of water in there, a lot of their improvements are gonna be wiped out. And, we may wanna, like John suggested, and I think it's probably a very good idea, I was never in favor of it when Si had the plan, that he was gonna just continue nothing but total time to this developing our properties here, but we might look at investing a few dollars and do something at least with the front part of our properties here, and get some grass in there, and make some picnic areas and stuff right here in town, as well as down there, because I'm real hesitant for us to step up and spend a whole bunch of money on the park if they're gonna continue dumping water in.
Well, and the proposal from the park board, they don't know the exact park, I know this was one of them, I think it was Strawberry was one of the others.
There was three.
There was three of them that wasn't city park, it was, no, this was the biggest one, and then there's,
Strawberry and
I
West,
know that.
Centennial, Strawberry and West Hill were the three that they were looking for. They were asking 17.5 for the design for the city park.
yeah.
But, I think initially, just to put show support and a little bump in the initial budget, and then come back in the new year, see where we're at, we can make adjustments, decrease it.
Does finance meet before next week,
We're gonna meet tonight, but,
See how that
see how that goes. I have something quick to go over, I'd like to meet the
You're not
finance.
meeting tomorrow?
It didn't work for somebody, I don't know.
Okay.
What if we?
For Gary.
For Gary, you can be out of town. With two of us, to me, that's acceptable with the council, I know we've done that before.
Well, we don't even have a quorum anymore.
That's true, so we had somebody.
Congratulations, you're the newest member of the finance. So other comments on the budget? Is council comfortable with starting with a $5,000 bump in parks and kind of moving from there and early 2014?
Keep it small until we know for sure about big items like insurance, but yeah,
It'll give you at least a guideline to go on and you can go on.
Okay, so for the town, 3% maintenance and 5,000 special fees for the design. And airport.
And Paula, did you have something as well? I know the comprehensive plan is coming up later for the,
Yes, and I can be really fast with that, but I think we need to remember, some of the money to be spent here is to assess the water table, and the wetland biologist who came up with the original delineation had some suggestions for consolidating the wetlands, which is something we can start thinking about. We do have some funds that accumulate that can be used not for correcting deficiencies, but for enhancing areas or creating new parks to serve new populations. That's the impact fee. So that is something else, and I know Richard's trying to figure out where those are living. One small amount of money that accumulates is held by King County until we make a proposal to use it. And the other is the impact fees, which has been accumulating over time. It's not huge, but it's over $100,000 that has some. So anyway, just wanted to say that. I'd like to get going on that, rectifying that situation so we can fill this park so the elderly people are not risking their lives walking on that path to get to the senior center.
other comments for the budget, 2014 budget, before we move on to the budget amendment?
I got one comment, looking at developing this particular park back here, if we consider putting a ball field in, Auburn Little League usually has money set aside to go through a matching fund type program to help us develop that.
Big enough. Not big enough.
Not big enough?
A big number, 200-foot field for Little League.
Well, plus we got wetlands in the back, so we can deal with that.
Well, it's something to look at, it's a good idea. It's a kiwi, we where we can get money.
Yeah. Even if it's not a full fence field, it could be for a t-ball or, first year coach pitch.
Yeah.
They don't need, kids can't have that far, so
Yeah.
it would be an improvement to the elementary
Okay.
Okay, Richard, let's talk about amending the 2013 budget.
Not much here, not to say there's not to amend, but the significant factors are, if you look down the list, and you see, well, the criminal justice fund has an adjustment of 1.5 million, you're like, okay, what's going on here? But I don't know if you remember this, when they made the 2013 budget, they being the mayor and the previous finance director, they wanted to move all of the expenditures from the general fund to the criminal justice fund, which is not what the auditors suggested, or actually the auditors don't suggest, they direct. The auditors had 3 or 4 barge codes that needed to be moved down, like communications and jail time, bedtime for jail, and that, but everything else needed to stay in the general fund. Well, that didn't happen in our budget, so there was a almost 9 million transfer that was supposed to be made from the general fund to the criminal justice, but it hadn't been made and I didn't make it. I moved everything back up to where it belongs, and it's been a great headache, and I can't wait till we fix the whole system, because right now, Springbrook prints it out with it all in there, and then I have to go out and pull it back up, and by its won't. But anyways, that's the biggest part of the budget amendment. Everything else is just, mostly it's salary and benefits were changed by adding 2 police officers, and by the deduction of public works director and community services director. So it kind of washed out a little bit, it pulled it less actually than what was budgeted. And then the other change is that none of the capital projects were moved forward. So if you look down, you can see that there's a lot of big numbers under the 300 fund, like Valentine Road project, 3.5 million difference in budget, was really an actual. The amended budget is $275,000 when it was originally 3.8, and that was a lot due to that and the transfer, I think, of funds to Sumner. So that's why it looks kind of skewed when you look at the amended amount versus what it was actually. 13 million versus 20. It's quite a significant change, $7 million difference, and it's just the lack of activity in the capital funds and then the movement of the criminal justice 521 back up to the general fund. So that's clear much, you know. So now the thing becomes is my best guess, that's what a budget amendment is. So I try to have all the department heads not spend any more money this month so that I know where we're at and go with that. But it really doesn't impact anything we do except that we don't want to find it. So we want to make sure we have everything nice and tight.
Questions about the budget amendment? The finance committee, seen that?
We've talked about it earlier with finance committee quite a few times, especially about the change of the criminal justice numbers.
What comes with budget?
Okay, the last part, the last one I have, which
Computer purchase.
yeah, I shouldn't have called it, I should have called it, upgrade. It was really, it's what it is. I mean, we're not buying new computers for anybody, but I could say there is one that's being purchased for the future public works director, but, and you have the list in front of you with all the changes that I gave you earlier.
Yeah.
And so, and it's got the 2013 numbers. I've spoken with the staff, just so you know, I'm not getting a new one, so, mine's good enough. But I've spoken with staff and the challenges that the old system has for them. Plus, we have some people with 2003 office, some people with 2007, and some with 13. 13 and 7 work okay together, 3 and 13 don't. So it's been laborious. We've gotten some help from Auburn in making that work so we can actually email each other, you know, spreadsheets and whatnot. But their systems are slower. I've heard from a couple of employees about, and I've actually watched some of the work and seeing how long it takes to save and open something, and it's just something that needs to be done. We're trying to rebuild the infrastructure of the city, and it's good to get it started this year. We have it budgeted. I mean, there's enough funds. We're not going over budget or anything, and it's just a small start, but I'm hoping the council will go ahead. Now, the 2 laptops, the laptops that we've been using for the presentations that I've made is my laptop. So we really should have an administrative finance laptop, and then one for public works. And it's also for training, for when somebody has to work off-site or whatnot. So I think it's something that's a good move to make. It's in the budget, and I'm hoping the council can approve that service.
So for 2014 and 2013, at the end of the upgrade, I'm guessing 2014 we're gonna try to get to as soon as we can this year.
We'll go along as we need, yes.
So at the end of 2014, everything will be on Windows 7, everything will have Office 2013.
Right.
Do we use, for the laptops, do we have a VPN that we use for if we are off-site?
That's my plan, is to do that.
And that's something Auburn will support?
Yeah, I've been talking with them, and I really want to do that. I was nervous about the snow tonight and whether I wanted to be here, and it was like, I need to find out if there's a way we can work outside. I know I can get email, but I'm sure I heard them talking about where you can work, what's it called again?
Remote access.
Remote, right, remote access. I think that's important to have set up in these months coming up, but.
Is there an additional cost for that, or is that something that's covered under our contract?
It should be covered under our contract. I was looking at the amount we spend, and there are many months we have used nothing. So, I mean, I'll talk to them to make sure that before we go ahead with that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Any questions about computer purchases? What's the council's pleasure?